Hi, everyone, and welcome to Take a Propaganda Podcast, Season 13, Sessions 1 and 2. So, we're going to do a combination of two sessions in one, and I'm going to just go through the countries as they are today. But I would like to apologize for missing one or two, podcasts. I guess I should have done also a podcast to conclude last season and do a podcast for last session, but just because of the coronavirus, and my wife working from home, and me also doing some stuff, and maybe a little bit not wanting to do it. I've been postponing it, and I wanted to do a great podcast for you guys with Great again because he said he would be interested, and with Midoriya, but unfortunately I couldn't get a Midoriya, and then I decided to do this literally like 3 minutes ago. So I'm not going to be waiting for anyone. I just want to get out of the way, and also just have a couple thoughts about the current progress, session, players, and so on. So this is going to be more of a personal thing, but I think next week, maybe sometimes this week as well, probably next week, we're going to sit down again and we will probably do a live podcast with a couple of the guys together. So we'll do kind of a panel discussion. Maybe it'll make it look more professional with the camera and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. And bring it to you guys live. Well, of course, we're going to have the recording, but I just thought this would be really, really cool that people can write in chat, add their own ideas and stuff like that. But mostly we're going to, just have a talk and debate like the last one we had that everyone really enjoyed. It was when Spotter and I had our last podcast before, he freaked out. But that was one of the better podcasts because we have this very unique and kind of different way of playing the game and looking at things and scenarios. And, it was a really good debate from two sides of the aisle of meta and strategy, and some things we agreed on, some things we didn't. And I think something like that along the lines would be absolutely amazing to repeat. And of course, it will be more interesting of a conversation for that. Anyways, so what we're going to do is we're going to dive right in to England as always, and we're going to talk about the development of Europe just in general, right? So I'm probably going to do turn this down a little bit and then just the master volume in general, and sit down and talk about the development of Europe. So during the first session, a lot of interesting things happen. So one thing that you probably do notice is that Brittany still exists, kind of strange. Brandenburg is not that big. Austria has his unions, also allied with the Ottomans. Castile decided to eat a lot of land from Aragon, which is his culture, and give Aragonese the other lands, which is pretty good strategy. For some reason, Spain also went Protestant. I don't agree with this at all because, as you remember, last season I was forced to do it because it spawned right here. Just the entire thing spawned right in Zativa, so I just had to flip. But Catholicism was better overall for Spain, so I completely disagree with this move. I think it's horrendous and not as effective as staying Catholic and getting all the wonderful bonuses, especially as you keep getting the papal controller. You can also use the crusade for a long time, getting those bonuses from it. And because everyone else is flipping, you hold the most cardinals and just pushing it forward more. Just have the grip on the papacy. And you can literally call crusade on a minor, get the bonus, get everything, eat the minor 100%. Crusade bonus comes back, call crusade on the other stuff, especially if you're pushing into Africa. Going Protestant is silly. I'm not sure where it spawned, but I really, really, really doubt it spawned somewhere here. Second of all, Ottomans is absolutely beast. He took all over Egypt. They actually had some wars. We're going to go into the wars later on. And Poland, currently following the new meta strat. I've first seen it done in the Root community. Couple months ago. I actually wanted to do it as well, but we'll see. Poland decided not to take the Lithuania PU and let and took the 666 ruler, and just let Lithuania be. And now Poland is big. Muscovy is also dead because died to Uzbek and just internal wars. Europe in general wasn't completely on fire last session. But yeah, so let's go through country. So, in terms of England, he got his states. He is not colonizing the New World. He is actually focusing on Africa. And this is a good move, but it's one of those things that you could probably do later on. I think majority and easier way you get more merchants, which you can use here, or maybe even the New World, is colonizing all the important spots in Chesapeake Bay, just in North America, and just pulling your trade here, because really the amount of colonies you can get and build it, and just investing as much money into the colonies early on is much better than doing it in Africa, because in Africa you have to split it between Portugal, you split it between Spain and yourself, and you don't know how that relationship is going to be. While the colonies mid to late game produce the most money, and with our rules that we implemented, colonies are actually super beneficial because they can't grow outside of their region and they cannot kind of rebel very easily, right? So these colonies are very good early to mid game. The colonies that we're talking about in North America are just so much superior because of all the trade goods that you get. You get tobacco, you get cotton, you get I forgot all the resources. I'm kind of having a brain fart. Where can you say fur goes up in value, cotton goes up in value, tobacco goes up in value, fish it doesn't really matter about, but do we look at the other ones? Yeah, fur 32%. It's really amazing, and the amount of manufactories that you can build here for your colonies and have them basically pushing into England, and the merchants, the amount of merchants you can get from Canada, Florida, from 13 colonies, from Texas and stuff like that, it's absurd. So this push, it's interesting, but I don't think it is vital now, as vital as it could have been, because we're in 1507 and there's still not a single colony in the New World, and you can get those really important local trade power centers of trade, estuaries and stuff like that. So really the push for the New World should be much higher of a priority than it is now. I really like it that he's not really drilling his troops. He's investing completely into resources, into ducats. Having such a big standing army, it's okay, I guess, just in time for crisis. This is built out. The only thing that I have to say here is, again, a lot of this money, it's only 47%. You could upgrade a lot of these centers more, right, and probably save up your money and get level 3s in there, and even like Friesland, can you actually, yeah, you can ask them to transfer power to you. There's a lot of countries that really in Europe that you can use to transfer power right here, and they will give you more power in the English Channel, right? All these miners, they will give you power. Or you can actually even ask for their merchants. Can you steer trade? Oh yeah, you can ask for a lot of miners in the HRE. And what happens when you ask them for steer trade is that they give you the merchants for the time being, all 2 of them, and they will basically place them here, they will place them here, they will place them here, they will place them there, and all over the HRE, and they will all steer trade into the English Channel. So your merchants are free to be allocated, for example, here to give you more trade power. So where is his Ivory Coast? I completely disagree, but actually, maybe it's okay because it's only 1. Okay, so he's pushing it here. But I guess like there's ducats flowing out here. You can also put one here. So it's kind of questionable, right? So maybe that was a good decision. But you can definitely use the steer transfer trade power. But the steer trade, I think it's very underutilized by a lot of people. And it's actually made a little bit, it's kind of hard, but you can do it as Muscovy as well. And now actually take your trade ideas. You just release OPMs and tell them to steer trade for you, and they will put a merchant in the regions, and they will steer trade to Novgorod. Very interesting. Anyways, so England overall looks cool. Has some heavies, 22, pretty good. Do we have anything more than that? Cogs, heavies. I mean, I don't know why you're exploring with 9. That's kind of stupid. You should be putting the other 6 here or somewhere else to steer. So that's not a really good move. All right, Burgundy. So also I really noticed the 2 people pop their golden age, so they're filling up their ideas pretty damn fast, which is good. They're actually getting that production early on. But it's mostly just filling out the ideas and saving mana, giving you a nice morale boost as well early on. 10% early on is much higher than 10% late game. Pretty good armies. Are they moving? How are we doing on drill? Okay, so pretty low professionalism overall in Europe. I would actually fix this as soon as you can, because taxation brings you the most money. I'm not going to go into states that much, but you went from 15 and next month it's going to go up. So Burgundy is in alliance with France, which is good. I think this is a very TIC meta of Burgundy and France allying. Usually Burgundy kind of gives up or gets pushed more north into the HRE and either becomes Netherlands or kind of dies. So it's going to be interesting to see what this France-Burgundian alliance will do, because last season, the 2 countries kind of played very well together, and Burgundy was actually one of the richest countries, if not the richest country in the world, because of how many merchants it had and how well it pushed everything. So it'll be nice to see if he can repeat that and start eating more into the HRE. But this season we have a similar scenario with Austria and Venice, so we'll go into that more. So overall, Burgundy looks okay-ish. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Not that big of a coalition. Nothing. I mean, I would probably do some deals, eat more land. Definitely do wars against the HRE in a coalition against Burgundy. Brandenburg. We'll get into that. That's silly. But definitely he needs to make sure that he annexes all of these, integrates all of this on time. It still hasn't been done, even it should be. Even on the -3 because of royal marriage, and you can get an advisor. That should always be going when you can. So same thing with Burgundy. You could also transfer trade power, request trade power, and collect more in the English channel. Also, all these level 1s, you can upgrade them. I don't know if you do we have markets. Okay, they definitely build 2 more markets there, but overall looking pretty well. What are we making for money? 46 ducats. Okay, pretty good. All right, France, my favorite scunt. Okay, yeah, French religious wars. Yep. I mean, yeah, that's gonna hit. That's gonna hurt the country a little bit. He's not making as much money as possibly can. Very low for trade. This should be on collect. We're transferring here. He is earning here. I mean, transferring this isn't as important as perhaps collecting here from the Rhineland, because this money is being pushed here. And since you you have a lot of power, you should definitely be collecting it there. And you'll be generating more money than pushing this into the Champagne area, because these other 4 countries will always be pulling it, and you will pull it automatically because this is your home node. Also improving, natural harbors here, and here is very good. And also, guys, don't forget, whenever you have a vassal, do this to them. Take their trade, because automatically they have 14% of the trade. That means you will increase the amount of money you generate in there by 14%. So definitely make sure that you keep the trade from flowing up into the stream. Very good, very, very good thing to do. In regards to France, I'm not sure. He's slowly pushing into Genoa. I mean, he's getting his pieces there. It's a really good push for France. This is where the money maker is for France. So we'll see maybe these two countries, because they are allied, but also the help of Burgundy, can push slowly into the Chari. But we'll see how that progresses, because France really depends not only on the French ideas and how much you fill out, but also on the player that's playing it. And there's a lot of things that could be done to improve on the country. These are permanent claims. You can pop them. Okay, interesting. Anyways, so France, after he annexes this, will be in a very good position and very powerful. You just got to get through those the religious thing, but other than that, it's fine. Yeah, he's slowly converting it. Make sure that when you are converting it, you also set the edicts to enforce religious unity. It's 1%, but it does help over time. So make sure you do that. Castile. So Castile. Castile recently fought in several wars against the Ottomans, or maybe one or two. He's pushing into Central Africa, so he's basically doing what I did last season. Very good push for taking this area, giving it to Aragon. There's also Tunis as an ally, and it's better to have this area as an ally than actually just owning it for yourself, because an ally will bring you 32,000 troops, while you owning this will bring you 10, 15. Yeah, so I think this is a good suggestion. I mean, yes, not all trade will flow there, but that's okay. So it's really not as important. Gold mines are developed. Very nice. What are we doing with our economy? 61. Yeah, pretty rich. So the trade-wise, and he also gets the treasure fleets. A really good amount of treasure fleets flowing. So that's going to be mode. Okay, so he'll have the treasure fleets going from here. So really, Spain should focus on Mexico this session. Pushing into this area for me, I don't know if it was such a good idea or not. It brought me kind of a power base, but I definitely invested a lot of resources into that area. So maybe besides owning this coast for Spain and parts of like here, I don't think it's good to own all of this, or maybe even this. Like, I still don't know how it would have played out, as I of Castile took this last season and pushed into Arabia, or maybe into France when I had my H bonus, because this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing H bonus earlier on, or maybe that's why he's focusing on Italy early on, because this is really good land. And I feel like with your age bonus, investing more into Europe would have paid off better in the long run than going into Africa, because of constant rebellions, conversion, especially if you go Protestant, converting, and rebellion in all the different cultures there. It's crazy how much money I spent on just putting down rebellions. And yes, I had gold mines there, but it basically forced me to take economic ideas, because this inflation number is going to go up, especially when the treasure fleets start coming in. I was getting 50 ducats a month in gold just from Mexico alone. So owning these 2 gold mines and then 3 gold mines here, I think I own like 25% of the world's gold supply or something last season. I think even more than that. It's just absolutely crazy. So, yeah, I'm not sure about this. I think it's a solid move. It gives you room to expansion. There's some really good states. One of the best states is right over here for manpower, but like right here, Jollof, I think. And yeah, so we'll see what happens with Castile push. But overall, Castile did lose that war against the Tunis and Ottomans, and it's one of those silly wars that you shouldn't really do before you get your Spanish tercios, I guess that's how you pronounce it, especially getting 4 points a month, or 5 5 points, right, from Basin. You should get it pretty soonish. And then when you form Spain, yeah, Spain becomes really, really strong because they get this land, they get their good states, so they're going to get these states as well. Did he pop any of the missions? Nope, he did not push his morale mission. He's still missing that for the galley combat mission, and it's Venice's interest not to give him that because yeah, Venice does have galley combat ability, but this was that mission would help Spain challenge Venice on the seas. So overall, very, very interesting. Also, Genoa. No one owns Genoa. Sad. Because they are Milan, Papal States. Do they actually have? Oh yeah, Genoa, 15%. There's like nobody really seriously collecting money here, which is also a mistake. Like Spain, I mean France is 11%. Milan. Yeah, so European situation, pretty damn interesting. So from this on, we're going to jump from the Mediterranean. We're going to jump up to Sweden, then Brandenburg, then Austria, Poland, and so on and so forth. And we're going to finish the Europe with Ottomans. So Sweden. Wow, a lot of money. Wow, who did you piece out? It's a crazy amount of money. Seriously, who did you piece out? Was it Muscovy? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's coming back from Muscovy. Riga, Norway are angry. I mean, you can just reduce like that, reduce around that real quick. Don't have them angry. Give them. Oh, never mind. But you can give them rural marriage. That will definitely work out, and that will definitely improve the situation pretty early on. So that would be a great suggestion to do. But overall, it's looking pretty nicely. Not too far behind on ideas. This is kind of dangerous, and I think he just finished quality ideas beforehand. But just remember, guys, it's better to not fall behind in Miltech and instead of closing quality ideas, because these 2 points give you nothing. But if someone would have attack you, or someone needs your help, and you being behind on next infantry combat ability, combat with, and military tactics, so your troops are absolute garbage, if you know what I mean. So the difference between Tech 8 and 9 is absolutely huge. So that was definitely a complete misplay of the situation. So he has a lot of money. He can definitely build a lot of stuff, and he should. Yeah, this will be will be nice. Production building is nice. How's Dallas Koken doing? I would upgrade this a little bit more. Yeah, he's behind on military points, but actually probably maybe falling behind more on admin. Definitely take the Diplo, because trade being ahead of time gives you 20% trade modifier, and you'll be making more money on trade, so trade will go up. Yeah, see, there you go. Better ahead of time diplomatic tech gives you 20%. So this trade will go up. Investing some of that money into okay, he doesn't own that. He owns this and Lubeck. Interesting play. So this will be good. Upgrading this. I would also do a power play here. Leading Vassal Royal Marriage and Alliance. Even though it will eat your Diplo points, you can figure out what to do there. I would do this, and Lubeck, Holstein, Selvics, damn. Unfortunate, but like just Lubeck itself, it's so nice, because if you release Lubeck early on, right? I'm just releasing it. They take usually trade ideas, and they have trade ideas. They have merchants of their own. As you see, merchant +1, and they have trade steering, global trade power, and they basically steer trade from here into Lubeck. So if you improve your relationships with them, maybe even make them a march, doesn't matter, because you shouldn't be annexing this land anyways. Your trade here would increase a lot, because you should be starting to collect trade here like that, and then asking them, so for trade, and say, I know this is burning prestige, I'm just doing it as an example. You will have a huge chunk, because we gotta wait for the month to update. You'll get a lot more trade out of here. So you should really be collecting here, and probably pushing out of Russia now. So merchant transfer power from Rhineland instead of here, because Lubeck's gonna put a merchant here somewhere. So Lubeck's gonna put merchants everywhere. And again, if you're really fast, you can do, okay, yes, there goes, transfer trade power, cancel trade steering. Amazing, good job, Sweden. Very nice play. Yeah, so Sweden's doing it. So that's just one of my suggestions for Sweden. And then you can also build a market for subjects. I guess this isn't worth it. But yeah, so Sweden's doing good. He just needs to eat Norway, incorporate Norway, free Lubeck, incorporate Riga first probably. It's much better land that he could use, that he can take. And then basically with Muscovy dead, start pulling the trade from Muscovy, take Novgorod and take Neva during the next war. This state, and you're golden. These are the most important states to take for Sweden. So with the Muscovy dead, it creates a very nice power vacuum with Sweden being able to expand, even though it's not the best land, but also powering up. As a suggestion for Sweden, you should go Orthodox. Oh, Brandenburg, another coalition. How on earth do you manage this? I mean, it's not that bad because your ally to Austria is probably not explode, but this is really, really shit. I'm just so confused about this. Like, why? How do you let Lubeck out of your picture to your rival? Like, Lubeck is just such an important place to take for Brandenburg, and I mean, at least you got Hamburg, but even if you release Hamburg and try the same thing, Bergian ideas are not as good as, for example, Lubeck's ideas. So this is definitely a letdown. Coalition-wise, really silly as well. He went quality economic ideas, not that bad, because Brandenburg does get the morale of armies and their ideas, and building going quality is good. Good job for Steg Mill Tech 9. Like, for example, if Brandenburg made an agreement with Austria and he didn't have this coalition, him attacking for Lubeck would be absolutely a golden opportunity, because Sweden can't do anything, because Brandenburg is just so ahead of Mill. The difference between Mill 9 and 8 is atrocious, and he has, I guess he doesn't have quality, but because Sweden has quality finish, he has the 5% discipline and 20% infantry combat ability. But I'm going to be honest with you, because Brandenburg, even though he doesn't have any of his military ideas finished or taken right now, but he has military idea 9, even though he is behind on discipline and 20% infantry combat ability, he is still stronger than Sweden. That's how important tactics and new unit types are. So, just so you guys know. But, I'm not going to go into country management for this, because he's transferring instead of collecting here for some reason. What is his merchants doing? Free collect. There you go. Collect stuff here. We earn, like, I would put a merchant here from Krakow and collect in these places. Don't transfer, collect, because if you have less than 50%, it's more efficient to actually collect on in your trade node instead of transferring, because you're transferring and then transfers out. Big whoop. right? But if you have your merchants here and there, you will be collecting, let's see, Brandenburg, you will be collecting probably 3.3 ducats, which will definitely help your economy, which is in the shitter right now. Yeah. Nice, strict. Hopefully, if you can get Prussia to form, that would be nice. But I don't see Brandenburg being a very powerful country. I think Sweden is going to outshine him, and already is. I mean, you're making 20 ducats. You don't have Lübeck. You don't have Prussia forming, and yeah. So I don't think this is going to be a very powerful country. Tag. The reason why I don't think it's going to be a powerful country is because, from my perspective, when you get the coalition of this size, it's very hard to lose it. And it goes away much slower than if they were not in the coalition. And you should be using these diplomats to improve the coalition. Also, you should be using this improve relations with everybody who is in the coalition, and probably hiring, yes, improve relations, but also putting, like, for example, this guy, he's the farthest away from your coalition, so you can improve with him the best, so improve relations. And then also maybe Munster, improve relations with them, get them out of the coalition. You basically want to improve from the farthest region of coalition and slowly work your way in, and try not to have these coalitions. It's better to take one province and ducats and merchants and money, whatever, than take two and have the coalition form, because then you're stuck with no ducats and this whole big coalition. And if it triggers, it's terrible, but you're just sitting there and doing absolutely nothing. So yeah, not the best thing, and they're getting support. So tag Habs. Anyways, Austria, also in the golden age, making money. I already went over the player, what to do for this season, how to do it. So for you guys, Austria made a couple of mistakes. First of all, I have his merchants on the gold mine. I'm going to say that usually if you put merchants on, for example, so his estates is completely wrong, but if you put merchants on, say, this province, it's 341, right? So what it does is that it gives this province a 25 base autonomy on tax and manpower, but the production has zero autonomy if merchants are present, and it's actually boosted by 15 or 20%, I think, right? And it also has other effects. Also, if they are happy and you put it on, a trade, center of trade, they also help boost the center of trade. Yeah, so in situations like this, you got to get rid of the autonomy right off the bat. Make sure it goes away. Probably things like this, when you have this much nobility, it's okay sometimes, but they're all in the wrong spot. Nobility should be going onto the grain provinces, instead of, and burghers should be going on provinces that give you metal and iron. So he has it completely backwards. It's one of those things. So in situations like this, sometimes it's better to take the hit and make everybody angry. And this isn't going to be cheap. It's not going to be easy, but sometimes it's definitely worth it. Go like this, and then you go into here and you accept those rebels, right? So it's not the best solution because you have to start from zero, but it's better than nothing. And then provinces like this one can't go to the burghers because the autonomy for the production will fall to zero. I mean, grapes, what are their oh boy, it's going away. Interesting. But for example, this province, it's 2.7, so we can definitely, for example, give these to the burghers, but we can't because it's not 10 development. But we'll say we'll give them this province, and we'll give them salt, I think. Switching tags sucks. And then giving them this province as well, and basically fixing your trade. But it really depends if you actually want to do this right away, or you also want to do the same with burgers, reset them completely, and I should have done that. Oops, I made a boo-boo, so that was my mistake. You have to take them away and kind of reset your states completely, and if I would have done it, sure, yes. There you go. You kind of start with 0 and 0. It's not the best, but you can go through here and lower the autonomy of those provinces and have them start counting down to 0. And eventually it will even out. And it will give you the chance to redo your estates completely, giving, like, for example, grain to the right estates. There you go. And then giving burghers, for example, glass estates. So after all these, influence bonuses go down. But you need to be careful when you do it, how you do it, and you guys kind of got to practice during the week in single player how to best optimize it. Anyways, but overall, Austria also made the mistake. He did not take this gold mine, and he did not take this gold mine, and he should have. So Austria does have an income, and it's different probably on your screen, but yeah, that role, like, for example, giving this the centralized effort, monthly autonomy change. I would even buy this holy order, and then centralized efforts, and just let this tick down over time. But anyways, usually when you play Austria, you want to take Cheb, you want to take this province as well. And defensive is pretty good, and also fill out this idea as fast as you can, because that will give you early inflation reduction, and this will also give you early inflation reduction. So rush it ASAP, and if you run the advisor as well, I know it's level 3, but that should kind of stabilize. If you take all those 3 ideas, it should stabilize the economy and start having the inflation go down, because early on, inflation is just a number, and you should not be afraid of it. If you have a gold mine, you should embrace it. You should dev it as much as you can. Don't worry about the inflation, because later on you can take economic ideas. You'll have events that will change it, that will bring it down. You can run the advisor. But early on, if you do have the chance to get your gold mine, because, for example, this gold mine now produces 9 ducats, you can hire, 2 level 1 advisors and 1 level 2 advisor and still make money. And for very small countries, this is very, very good to do, even for big countries like the Ottomans. So Austria is in a good position. I think overall he just needs to settle down. He needs to do his things. He needs to kind of take this session and build up. Maybe even I don't know if he can bring more things into the empire, probably not, but yeah, just needs to settle down and build up the session. Also, the conundrum here for Austria, really, as it was last season, is that Austria and Venice both exist, and Austria is losing all his money into Venice, which is not very, very good. So something really needs to be done here. I know Venice is not pulling straight into there, but Austria should go through the empire and have them steer trade as well to him, help him out a little bit. But mostly, really, for Austria, it's going to be very difficult to make money without the Venetian node. It's going to take a lot of resources, and these gold mines are super, super important. He's starting to integrate it, running a better advisor such as this. If we pay attention, like, for example, this integration will be done January 15th, 34. If we just change the advisor, diplomatic advisor, automatically it's changed just to 27. So we will save 7 years just because of that advisor, right? It's a really, really huge difference. And he also has this one, so when this goes away, he's gonna start really, really getting in the integration of Bohemian very, very quickly. And it's going to be a huge boost to Austria. So he really should just sit, wait, chill, let the coalition fall down, maybe eat this, eat the little bit of the other miners because everyone is in the coalition against Brandenburg. And if you have the coalition formed against Brandenburg, you can take one or two states kind of for free because the country cannot be in two coalitions at the same time, which means you can eat away at the expense of other countries. Because if they have like 70 AE and a country joined, if you get 80 AE for that country, it's not gonna leave the coalition and join yours until it ticks down to 48, 47, and then it will leave the coalition and join against you. So you have time to bring it down. With Austria, because of the national ideas, 30% improvement time, and also because you can use these merchants, like put it here, you can improve relations with a lot of countries that could join your coalition potentially. So a very cool power move to do. Anyways, Austria done. I would also, dude, what is going on? Okay. Alright, Ted, Poland. So Poland, as I was talking earlier, Poland did the power move. I'm going to say this again, word of the day, phrase of the day, and he decided not to take Lithuania. He decided to go with the 666 king, who's now dead, and also you don't take the monarchy. Also, a very interesting move. He is also Orthodox. He is not running the. Coffee icon right away, but it's a strong Poland nonetheless. So he also has how many Cossacks? 23 Cossacks. Holy shit! I think that's a little bit too much, but I mean, it does win wars. So what's his force limit? I mean, 23. He can raise more manpower, so you'll have about 12 Cossacks per army, per engagement army. It could hurt a lot. So yeah, Poland is still pretty strong, even though he does have debt. He is integrating Moldavia, and Muscovy didn't work out. What is his alliance like? Sweden, not Brandenburg. Interesting. Danzig, it's huge. This is a really good land. So, I mean, besides the crippling debt, I think Poland is in good shape, but this is really, really killing him. And he's not drilling. I would make one correction for this, and I would have the Cossacks, and like at least one army of Cossacks, probably 12, 13, or 14 was the engagement width. Engagement width is 25. I would have like 13 Cossacks drilling at all times, because the Cossacks are very strong units. So what can we see the bonuses? So the Cossacks themselves are, oh boy, where can we see this? There you go, shock bonus 10%. And with Poland, does he actually have any of the ideas closed? You have the cavalry combat ability plus 10 and ratio. So your Cossacks, along with your discipline from here and discipline advisor here, with your discipline and cavalry combat ability of Wind Hussars and Cossacks state, and your cavalry having shock damage, especially when it is drilled, it will give you the kind of the power that you need to really, really make it hurt for anyone who's going to attack you. So I think at this time, just having maybe 12 regiments, 10 regiments without a first engaging army to really hurt the enemy is super, super important. But yeah, Poland looks nice. He's pulling trade here. He's transferring, earning. Maybe, I'm not sure, but maybe if he's pulling that much money, wouldn't it be better to collect here? Because you are already collecting here and collecting here. I don't know if the negative bonus actually stacks against you. will be very interesting to see. So, see, okay. Um, I just looked at my phone and Uzbek needs a sub, and I will get to Uzbek soon enough. Anyways, now to ornaments. So overall, Poland's doing good, but he is truly dependent on diplomacy with Austria, Brandenburg, Uzbek, Sweden, France, and everyone else. Because not, I really think the Ottomans is going to deck him and kind of kill him. Yeah, for the point of killing. Anyways, Turk. So ornaments. In the middle of a golden age, making a shit ton of money. Wow, very, very impressive. Ottomans. I know this is a lot of taxation. So Ottomans in our mod is kind of buffed because in our mod, as you guys know or maybe not know, we do have a little bit of increase of like 10-15% on tax revenue. And trade and production is down. So Ottomans early on, because there's just so much tax throughout the empire, makes a lot of money through tax, and we can definitely see that. Really strong armies. He has a lot of manpower. Manpower generation is kind of actually low. It should be at 15 or 1600 a month. So this is a little bit of low, undeveloped. Yeah, but otherwise it's a really strong army. Good rulers, amazing. 3-3, yeah, he's running 3-3-3s. I wouldn't run this advisor during peacetime because you can trigger your morale event unless he's waiting to trigger the morale event so he can attack somebody. And if he does, I mean, I don't think anyone can really stop him. He has a lot of prestige. He also took defensive ideas. He's going economics. He's going to dev this up. I mean, Ottomans is just going to be a really strong country, especially with his later on he has a naval force limit. Galley combat ability was his finisher land force limit 33%, which is massive for Ottomans. He's going to have a really nice army. I really hope that we're going to see a strong Ottomans late game because if he takes this land, either here or the Mughals, or I'm not sure about Poland because it's, first of all, it's wrong religion, but also it's not very good land, and this land is kind of way too far, and it doesn't help your trade. So Ottomans usually needs to decide between killing the Mughals or going into Ethiopia for the gold mines and finishing these finishing the Mamluks. But other than that, I mean, if you take this, it's, as we see in Rustin play, he actually, from Byzantium, he formed Seleucids in the Sunday games. But even with this area, you can make a lot of money and have a lot of manpower recovery. And as you know, our mod is so manpower heavy. So Ottomans really showing us the true power. I mean, great again, showing us the true power of the Ottomans. And we can do, I mean, Janissaries being drilled. What do? They do fire damage received -10, shock damage received -10%, shock damage +8%, fire damage +8%, shock damage received -8. So really strong. So they basically, Janissaries received right now -18.8% shock. So these troops are ready to kill. I think overall nicely done. I know he's been in wars and been attacked and stuff like that. So we'll check okay, really nice. This is very good buildings. Production also very nicely built. A lot of things. Not as much development, I think. What I do want to point out is the gold mine is that he has developed to 16. There's an event that fired his Novo Bardo code. Great. Local goods produced +1, so he's making a lot of money from gold. That's a lot of money. He's got his defensive forward, so Fort of Philippe, good job. I mean, he's pooling it right. One thing I do want to point out is that you should upgrade your centers of trade here and here and here and here. And maybe make this a level 3 because it's why is it only 38 development? Change your edicts. I think. Do we see the expense of state maintenance? The state maintenance is kind of high. and it's probably high because of edicts. No, why is it so high? Aleppo. Yeah, but I mean, it's ticking down for him slowly as well. Very nice. Yeah, overall this looks like a very strong Ottomans, and I really hope to see this Ottomans in late game, because I want to see, from personally, I want to see Great again show himself in late game and how well he transitions from early game to late game, and how well that could be done. His fort system was great, both in Europe and Anatolia. Has a fort here. The only fort he's missing, I think, is. Oh, he doesn't control this land. I mean, that's fine. But yeah, he's good in relations with the Mughals, good relations with Ethiopia. About Tunis, it doesn't really matter because he now has this, Tripoli, and he also has this fort. And if someone does attack him, they have to go through this. They have to go through this desert province, and you have such huge attrition. That's why last season I actually went through this desert province. I also landed troops, so I controlled the season. I landed troops in Rashid, I think, and then had reinforcement just walk slowly in 40 stacks over this way, because actually forcing a battle at this fort is just so terrible, because of the attrition that you get. And if you scorch earth it, it's slower. Just scorch earth, this province, just slower movement for everybody, and it's very, very crazy, stupid amount of losses that are generated on these provinces. While on Ottoman side you have farmland, some swan, but desert. But overall, it's a really nice area where you can keep troops. So fighting for this area, it's kind of silly, should never be done. But yeah, how is the Ottoman fleet? I mean, okay. I think that's one of those things you should build more ships. Okay. Anyways, gonna move on. Ottomans looking great and sexy. Uzbek. What do we do? Tag shine. All right. What are we looking at? So the Uzbek won their war against Muscovy, kind of imploded. He got his gold mine back. The gold mine collapsed. So there's a lot of shit going on here. If he doesn't find a sub, I think this country is kind of dead. This is a really nice state to take. That's a lot of development. 41, 53, 65 dev. Wow, it's really nice state. Just different cultures, but a really nice state nonetheless. Gold mine. Very nice. So if Uzbek play doesn't show up this week, I mean, Sweden, Poland, Mughals can definitely eat all of this. Even the Cheng can expand this way a little bit. But yeah, so overall, Uzbek collapsed. Guys, hordes are really amazing if you actually use them. What do I mean by that? It means you have to wage war. You have to be a horde. So when you play Uzbek, you take this gold mine, you have to go through these hordes, you have to raise it, take the land, maybe even release it, but just raise the land. And probably go more into Oirat, Mongolia, into China, all the steps. Go into Yarkand, for example. There's a gold mine right here. It's a gold mine with... Maybe he did take it. Oh, it probably released and collapsed. But he didn't do it session 1 or session 2, I think. He did session 3. No, he didn't do session 1. He did session 2. But it's one of those things you do session 1 as a horde because it is Sunni. You are Sunni. It's absolutely fantastic thing to take, and it stimulates your entire economy, and you can push it into China or into India for that matter. So with Uzbek, you got a war. You got to take ideas and stay ahead of tech. And he kind of didn't do it. And the way you stay ahead of tech is by burning land. And I think he had a very strong Uzbek start, but was not too aggressive because you could have had all of Oirat dead and gone, and Mongolia rebelled, or even you take Mongolia as a vassal and eat into that. It doesn't matter. But I think this is a missed opportunity. I was excited to see Uzbek, but kind of didn't deliver because Uzbek and I did some 1v1s during the middle of the week. Him on Muscovy and I was on Uzbek, and I was pretty much unable to win because Muscovy was just, well, both countries went into debt, heavy debt. Uzbek did the damage, but because he was behind on tech and wasn't big enough, Muscovy would outpower him on one-on-one. I understand why Muscovy lost because diplomacy in other countries did help to kill him, but nevertheless, I'm kind of sad to see the collapse of Uzbek. Maybe next season we will see another horde, if we will see a horde, but yeah, we shall see. Anyways, Uzbek, cool. Just one idea away from cavalry combat ability, but horse is just so strong. All right, Mughals. So for Mughals, it's played by Dennis. He is number 1 in great power, doing absolutely great. One of the things that he did a mistake on is that he formed the Mughals a little bit too early, and Rustin and I actually had a discussion about this when I was playing Timurids in a random 1444. I also formed Mughals, but a little bit too soon. Timurids' ideas are pretty good. He didn't keep the ideas. But also for Timur's missions, I don't think he popped all of them. The Mughal ideas are really nice, and they give you a lot of claims on India. But that's not what I'm saying. It's not very good. Moves into Delhi, and you need to spend resources in order to move it back. But also, if you look at your accepted cultures, cultures that were accepted before are not accepted. So the Mughals have a very interesting mechanic of where you need to control 100% of the culture for it to be accepted. So Uzbek culture, 1, 2, right? And then accepted culture. You see that? These 2 provinces are missing. Because these 2 provinces are missing, he does not control Uzbek. And Persia, because he doesn't control this province. So this entire culture is not accepted. So his economy could be a lot better. But overall, this is a very strong country in the making. He also has a strict ruler, 334. He did go Hindi. He has Shakti, so he has like 120 discipline. It's absolutely crazy. No professionalism, and understandable because he was stuck in European wars. He also fought Delhi. But yeah, I really hope to see Dennis as one of the great majors of the season. To do a little change of the guards. Maybe we can see Mughals and maybe someone in Europe who usually doesn't become a major. I mean, Madorio. I would like to see Madorio as top 3, probably. I really would. And probably good again. I would like to see these 3 players be top 3 majors and see how they will dictate the policy. Mughals dictating India and maybe Asia. Ottomans dictating Eastern in Central Europe, while Castile dictating, this block right over here. Because I think that's how it's gonna fall into be if these 3 powers do become kind of like top 3 powers, kind of rivals, and all of them do have the capability. They already are, but we're still in early game. We're not even in mid game. I think mid game starts about 1550 when you close out the third, 1530, 1540 when you close out the next idea group. So it will be very interesting to see how that develops. But anyways, Mughals have some things to do, like with their estates, with paying off their loans, with building some stuff. I think Mughals really needs to sit down and chill, convert stuff, build buildings, because he's really kind of unbuilt. He could be built a lot more, and production-wise, he could be definitely built a lot more. And with Tech 11, you have a lot of things being unlocked, so you should definitely be looking to save up money and build them when they appear. All right, let's go to tag Ethiopia. So Ethiopia, also in the middle of Pompey's golden age. He actually has rivals, but I'm surprised he's not like. Did he insult them? He should be insulting them. Humiliated Mamluks. Yeah, he hasn't insulted them. If he insults them, do a big insult, a small insult, he could get 15 power projection, and then trade, and then do issuing embargo on your rivals will help you economically, but gives you power projection. It will directly turn to give you 1 of each monarch points. Um, with a 5-3-4, it's okay of a leader, but I would kind of like to kick him, kick this, uh, because your next idea has to be a mill idea, and a 2 in mill isn't very good, I personally think. And for a player who hasn't really expanded that, I mean, he expanded a lot, but could be more. I mean, you fill out the economic ideas, and your ruler gives you, because it's a 5 admin. You'll be absolutely flooded, especially with this. You'll be flooded in admin points. So I think it's better to choose an heir that can really deliver you mill points. And in our mod disinheriting, it's only 25 prestige and not 50 prestige, which is absolutely great. So you could do, after you fill out this ideas, you could do focus on mill, get the level 2 advisor, for example, and really start going. Anyways, he's making a lot of money, 43 ducats. Where's that gold mine? Gold. But this could be this could be a lot better, maybe. Especially if you take, why is this so loud all of a sudden? Especially if you took econ ideas, this could be a lot better. Trade goods. I bet it collapsed. Okay, it probably collapsed. So this is way too much. Like this was a waste. It collapsed, but this was way too much. On tax development. So now it's at 100 dev. You can't even really get it up easily. So it's better to dev this gold mine. I guess he'd like develop institution here, but it's a lot of resources wasted. All right, interesting. I mean, if you do that, if you're gonna do that, might as well move your capital here, and then before you develop, and then you do encourage development, 83, and then you do build a college on there, and it's gonna bring it down by another 10%. So will definitely help. This number is gonna go down even more. Well, next time you develop institution. So if you really want to develop a gold mine, do that. In the long run, it will definitely sell you more monarch points. But overall, Ethiopia looking good. A lot of gold production. Not so much trade, but allied with the Ottomans. And he's letting Batua grow. I'm not sure that's a really good idea, because Batua has way better ideas, and Ethiopia is kind of lacking them besides infantry combat ability, and that's it. And so Batua eventually will definitely outscale him. So it's one of those things that you can do to prevent it, unless you're planning to ally them, is do a preventive strike on him while he's really behind and kill him. But eventually Batua is going to just outscale from the amount of resources that he has. Again, not really enough. I guess this collapsed twice or something like that. I'm not sure. Okay, this is just way too much development. I don't understand why. All right, but again, remember, inflation is just a number, but sometimes you gotta stop doing it and run an advisor and save up your points to unlock and take economic ideas and get the inflation reduction. At a certain point, you should be stopping the expansion. So this is the downside of having too much gold, but you can definitely fix it. You just gotta focus probably on this. Get the economic ideas, fill it out, and get the inflation reduction. Plus hire an advisor, and maybe take vassals. Maybe take vassals instead of actually taking land, and then just use your diplo power to integrate them. And I think that's it with Africa. Moving to next country, which will be Muar, which is me. I mean, institution was deft, fantastic job. Uh, I think I will talk about this, my country, in a little bit other sense. I think Noir is a strong country, but I personally made a mistake, and one of the mistakes that I did make is with, I guess it didn't. I could have popped this mission to unlock this mission, and popped this mission also earlier on. I didn't have 5 barracks or Rajput's loyalty 70, and I completely closed my eyes on this, and I kind of destroyed my completely really strong tree, but you know, things happen. Anyways, overall, great, good forward placements. Really proud of that. They're all on the hill, so giving -1 roll, and up to last age. This was my capital, so that means I also had the bonus for your capital. Gives you fighting on the same land as your capital gives you a +1 roll in, you know. And since all the forts were on this position before I moved my capital due to mission, they were all on this, so I was in a really strong position. But since our Pope sucked dick, sorry, I don't think I'm not even gonna cover you because I think it's a dead player. The age lasted very, very, very short time, because usually in 1507, 1515, you can let the age last a lot longer, because the Pope gets these, either you take like 10 ducats in tax for the entire year, or you reduce, you take a -1 stab hit, but you reduce the reformation by 10%, -10 of reformation, and you get like 2 or 3 or 4 of those events. So you can definitely make it, you know, you can make the first age last a long time, and it's good for a lot of people because you get a reduction of AE, you get the same combat as your capital, you get free war taxes, and there's a lot of more interesting bonuses even for the Ottomans, right? So the second bonus is really nice because of the Merc discipline, and the Mughals get, and the Spain is good, really good for Spain, and also the Mughal artillery. Artillery costs -5, 50%, which makes artillery actually cost less than cavalry. So interesting. But overall, Noir making 48 ducats, inflation is there, but not too bad. Production is kind of low. Buildings could have been done a little bit more, but as you see, there's nothing, no better buildings to build. Same thing with this, and money should be being saved for manufacturers when those things are unlocked. This is also killing the Mewari production, but it will definitely change when these bonuses drop off in 1509, 1508, 1509, and so on. So we'll be waiting for that. Anyways, in regards to Delhi, Delhi died in India. Unfortunate. 645 ruler, that should definitely help. But Delhi's dead. Bengal is not in a really good situation. And I will switch to it just for a little bit. Bengal was attacked by Orissa, which he made the mistake of not allying anyone early on, like Vijayanagar, for example, or any other minus. So Orissa thought that Bengal was weak and attacked him. And in fact, Orissa starts with a really good ruler, 4 vassals, and like the ruler's like 4, 5, 6 or something like that, so they can always be a tech up. And so Bengal spent a lot of resources fighting that war. Then he devved the institution, but instead of devving it with only administrative and diplomacy and a little bit of military, he devved it with everything, and he fell behind again on military points, and he got attacked by Orissa again, where Vijayanagar had to come in and save him. So those early wars really, really killed Bengal and his progress, and pretty much it's in a very hard position. As you see, he's fighting for the Pretender Rebels. The Pretender Rebels are pretty good, so he should let them win, and he's letting them win. But this is a hard position for Bengal because he's once again behind in ideas, and you kind of never recover. You could recover, but he definitely didn't recover from those early wars. So Bengal, you know, just gotta sit, maybe expand, maybe take some take some vassals, but besides vassals, you got to build up the country with cash. Vijayanagara. So Vijayanagara had a really slow start. He's also in the middle of civil war. There's civil war. Mewar went through civil war. Vijayanagara's going to go through it. Bengal's kind of going through it a little bit, and you're paying way for too many forts. Because if you trust your allies, you would delete these forts, for example, and and you can place them in different positions. But that automatically will start generating you more money. The estate's pretty good. But yeah, just recovering, going probably through the Civil War, trying to go for a good pretender rebel, because I think that Civil War will fire and there's really nothing you can do. Because 3-5 isn't very good. 4-5-3 is, but you can definitely get a better heirs with Surya. Yeah. So, also paying for this fleet, because it's not mothballed. You've been playing it for 4 ducats 18 cents this entire time, which is kind of silly. I guess it's not the entire fleet, but if you just mothball it here, this price drops by 2 ducats. And if you take 2 ducats in a year, that's 24 ducats. Take 24 ducats and multiply it by 50. You will basically where is my math in the head? 1,200 ducats just wasted on fleet maintenance throughout the game, and we've been playing a lot more than 50 years. So, and this fleet, you basically start with this fleet. So this is a huge mistake. I usually even sell this fleet if I can to AIs and save myself a lot of money. So EU4, it's a lot about micromanaging, about min-maxing if you're in MP, especially if you want to be efficient. And Vijayanagar a little bit messed up on that. I think he has plenty of time to really catch up and be okay, because it's Vijayanagar. You have amazing government reforms, and also you will have this 5% discipline reform. And as it goes down, Vijayanagar is a very strong country in terms of reforms. National manpower modifier, vassal. Like, this is a really strong country with really strong ideas because of the culture group, Kannada culture group. But overall, yeah, definitely need to, I guess, need to improve a little bit on your current position and do something about your economy, build up, it's pretty build up, okay. And what are we doing? Okay, and start filling out more ideas, getting those better rulers. All right, let's go to my boy, Khmer. So Khmer looks very small, but it's played by our season favorite, Rustin. Okay. And the reason why it's so strong is because the Rustin has a 666 and a 666, so that's gonna be a super fun. The economy wise, it's not the best, but it's still really strong for the region. So again, taxation are really helping him, and he ate his way. He can definitely eat more land. He's getting those claims in. He's gonna get the Malacca. He's gonna get help from Tondo. Speaking of Tondo, I actually probably need to go back to Portugal. I completely forgot about Portugal, so I will do that next. But yes, so slowly going through the reforms, nothing too special besides Mandala system. Do we actually have something special? No, nothing too special, but pretty generic. Income from vassals, vassal, forced limit contribution, and number of states. So not the strongest, but that's all right. I would actually probably choose the merchant actually instead of this income from vassals, because you don't even have vassals. Okay, he's not choosing his rivals because Meow. He doesn't set it as that. But yeah, he's going to be blasting through his ideas really quickly. He also didn't start his golden age, so that's going to be interesting to see what age he's going to pop it. Overall, yeah, looking like a healthy country. From what the resources you started as Khmer, this is not too bad. He also did the quantity start, just like the Khmer last season. So, looking decent. What does he need to form the Angkor Empire? Tech 10. That's going to give him good claims. He's going to change his capital. He's going to give him some development and new traditions. And his traditions are pretty good, much better than Khmerian ideas, even though they do get discipline and a morale advisor and tax, and manpower modifier. But the Khmer and the Angkor Empire ideas are much better. Anyways, we're going to quickly go back to Porta before I forget. Portugal. Sorry about that, guys. I wanted to do it, but I forgot. Anyways, Portugal, he went exploration expansion. He's burning through these ideas really, really fast. He also pumped his golden age, going it big. Very unfortunate for him that the Pope changed his, decided not to spend time on during the first. Decided not to get the Age of Discovery going for longer, because Portugal gets the amazing bonus of more colonies during that time. But I mean, if we look at it, Portugal is blasting away through those colonies. He has 3 colonies, 5 merchants. He's really focusing down the expansion. I'm not really sure why he's focusing down on this. I mean, if you focus down on that, blast through these ideas, you'll have the next group unlock and choose another idea group. But Portugal has discipline, he has combat ability, he has morale of navies. He's gonna maybe go even offensive, so to have some military capabilities if he wants. I really don't know what their agreement are, but Portugal is present in Brazil. He's settled colonizing here. He's present in he's present in Madagascar, so he has a lot of ambitions here. The only thing he's making a mistake is that he should be controlling majority of the Cape completely, and not enough resources invested into here is that he let Great Britain take, unless they have some agreement, England is going to be absolutely dominating this trade, because Portugal only has these 2 provinces, but England has this one, the estuary, and I guess he's aiming for Mali as well to control this estuary, and probably, this center of trade, and probably will take this estuary as well. So he will have a lot of pull here into the English Channel. So I don't know what their agreement is, but I guess English interest in Africa is really pulling off. That's why he's investing so much. But I mean, with Portuguese investing so many resources here, it's kind of interesting to see that he let these centers of trade go, to England. Huh. Well, we shall see what happens. Ho ho ho. But yeah, so Portugal is even in Australia with a little detachment, and he's probably aiming at this Malacca trade. It's definitely what they need to do, but it's going to be interesting to see how many resources they're going to allocate to this, because he doesn't have that many heavy ships. And besides morale of navies and golden age, wow, he has a lot of discipline. Oh, he put his level 3 lols. This was a mistake. So when you have the level 3 morale or disadvisors, you can, or 4 or 5, you can trigger your their special events. In this case, the 10% discipline. And if you trigger it, you usually go to war. And he triggered it for nothing, pretty much. I think that was a huge mistake. Okay. All right. So we'll see what Portugal does. But it's cool to see Portuguese here. Last season, Portugal already had a colony here. Not a colony, a vassal there in 1468, I think. Something like that. So it was a much faster start. But he did invest a lot of resources into here. So this is pretty good. I mean, if Tonto takes this island, he could do his thing of not pirating. I forgot what is that thing called? Tag TDO. Where is his navy? This raiding coasts, and he can actually raid all of this. Will be pretty hilarious. All right, so this one Tondo. Let's get to it. Tondo has a fort on the gold mine, but still no invested resources into it. Very strange. I would even take debt if I have to. Get your even do this focus on that, shoot through your ideas, stay up in tech, and dev this gold mine. Even maybe transfer your capital here or something like that. Just for the gold. Again, going through this is that people really underestimated. Like, for example, let's do cash. I mean, we're going to do admin 200, and then we'll do dip 300. If we move capital here, right, and just do this push, right, you start making 6 ducats from gold, which almost automatically pays for your advisor. And you can actually, if you really want to, spawn the institution there, but it's a lot of points. But still, just gold is super important, and Tondo is really making a mistake by letting this gold mine sit here. When did he take it? Became a core of Tondo. So he has had it for 14 years and has done nothing with this. This is a huge mistake. So Tondo, I mean, possible, good ideas, can definitely do it. He's a Luzon ideas pirate, but kind of lackluster. I would expect more from this, to be honest with you. Definitely, especially with this gold mine. I even told him about the gold mine, so unfortunate. Let's go to CMI. So, in regards to 1 second, do I have messages? Okay, back. So the gold mine again. He got it devved. This was a mistake for having Ning that big. Is he actually? Oh, he's integrating and it's working. Okay, maybe not. Dolly. So Meow is in a really strong position. If he integrates this, he's going to become a beast. Really, a really big beast. Well done. From this, I would actually use the +1 to dip advisor. Integrate this faster, but they will like you more. Maybe give them some gifts or something like that. Just reduce their liberties. If they ally or someone supports it, Ning will probably become disloyal as well. So you want to keep that from happening. But yeah, this is Meow is looking really, really strong, to be honest. So this is nice. How are their ideas? They get Meow traditions, national manpower 25, goods produced, really strong economic, infantry combat ability 15, and morale of army 20%. With Asian pips, this is going to be very strong nation even late game because Asian pips are quite nice. They have this strong 4 fire, 4 offensive, 4 defensive fire at Tech 26. It is not that bad. Yes, they're lackluster in morale and shock, but because of the fire pips and 4 defensive pips, it is perfect. So Asian pips are not that bad. So Meow looking strong. King Ching, Pop the Golden Age, looking nice. Ideas, saving them up. Going defensive economic. How are we doing on ideas here, by the way? Quantity ideas. Okay, okay. I can dig that. Economy is also pretty nice. A lot of inflation, but that's okay. Room to grow. Woo still open to be eaten, and they're both eating it slowly. I guess they have some sort of agreement. Money is being made here and here. Very nice. States, yeah, looking good. Oh, wow, a lot of things to build still. But, Beltspite doing God's work. Also, infantry costs minus 20%. Shock. So this is shock they received minus 10%. Morale of armies plus 10, and land leader shock plus 1. Not the greatest ideas, to be honest with you, with no discipline, but not the worst. So this is early to mid game power because of the minus on shock minus 10%. It's pretty strong morale of our ideas, but and also infantry cost is reduction, which automatically gets reduced in the maintenance. So Ching doing really nice. I don't know, do we have Korea? I think we have Korea. Yeah, Korea had the failed invasion of Japan. It's got some loans. 2,000, Jesus Christ. That was a fail. Oof. Yeah, I'm not gonna go too much into that. That was a silly mistake on. So basically, Korea tried to invade Japan and failed. That's all I gotta say. So he failed with the invasion. Chinese diplomacy. I mean, you got your own mission. Wait, land fire damage. Holy shit. Wow. Land fire damage plus 25%? Wow. It's a really nice mission. Huh. Yeah, and also the Korean ideas are infantry combat ability plus 10% finisher, morale of armies 10, national manpower 10, but it's a very economic, so dev, you also have production efficiency, yearly army tradition, tax, so it's a very economical country, and he went defensive ideas, but the landing failed. I'm not really sure what the story is here, but yeah, so Korea and Japan are really behind, and it's going to bite them in the ass when Qing and Miao both need land to expand. This will be prime example of where they would expand if they don't catch up in ideas. So Japan, really no debt, making money. Did he have? So he didn't get the gold events yet, where his provinces turned to gold production, but still very nice land, a lot of autonomy. I would, in a lot of these cases, because it's so high, reduce the autonomy, because for minus 12 you go down by minus 9. Now we do reduce the autonomy a lot more. The reasoning behind it is that autonomy automatically affects your government reforms and how much money you generate. Shitty ruler, unfortunate, but he's aiming for defensive. He has Japanese traditions, and he also has Shinto, morale of armies. So if he takes defensive, he's going to have a lot of morale. And infantry combat ability, really strong. Yeah, could be stronger if he was, another minor, but nevertheless, Japanese 5% discipline, infantry combat ability plus 15%, technology cost, I mean, not so much. Yearly prestige, not that bad. National unrest, yeah, but really the Shinto of 10% morale, it's kind of nice. So we'll see what they do. We'll see what happens with yearly prestige. I mean, I would guess pop it. Prestige is nice. Yeah, so Japan definitely needs to. These two countries really need to settle down and not go in all-out wars all the time, because really, for them fighting, the only winners would be Qing and Meow. Them fighting would be like if Great Britain or Portugal come later on knocking, they won't be able to hold. So they need to, both these countries need to settle down their differences and actually maybe even work together to expand here or colonize or do something, because as the longer they fight, none of them really expand, and they just become weaker and weaker. So the Korea into the Japan was pretty stupid, especially with 2,000 ducats. I would just say Korea is going to fall off, and Japan is going to be in a much better position. Anyways, I think this is it. This is it. I mean, I didn't cover one or two things, but overall, this season is looking really nice. We have a lot of players, and yeah, sorry for not doing the podcast for 2 weeks, but I'll try to do it more often. But just want to let you guys know that appreciate all of you guys. It's fun playing with you. Hopefully you don't feel too insulted by the podcast. You're listening to something, and most importantly, I want you guys to stay safe. Don't go outside to play more EU4. Take care of one another. Take care of your families. And from the bottom of my heart, I wish you and your family health, happiness, and patience to get through this time. It's not always easy to do so and to sit still and not work. And a lot of people here are working and staying at home, and maybe they're seeing their parents lose their jobs or being not financially stable anymore. And just let you know, this is not forever. Nothing lasts forever. Stability doesn't last forever. This doesn't last forever. So we'll get through. So stay safe. Stay yourself, and hopefully together we'll get through this. So thank you so much for watching the podcast. Enjoy, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the battlefield.